Remember when you could throw on a pair of jeans and a t-shirt and somehow still look put together? These days, it can feel like getting dressed is more about covering up than expressing who you are. And for a lot of folks heading into their 70s and beyond, confidence in how they look starts to fade. Not because they don't care, but because no one ever told them how to dress for this stage of life without spending a fortune. I know, you're pulled in a dozen directions: family, finances, your own shifting energy. Some mornings you barely have time to sip your coffee before the next fire needs putting out. But there's a quiet power in feeling good in your own skin. And how you dress still matters. Not in a flashy, try-to-look-younger kind of way, but in a, this is who I am and I still love showing up kind of way. Because confidence doesn't retire at 70, and style doesn't have to break your budget. What we're unpacking today isn't about trends or fashion rules. It's about practical shifts that can help you feel confident and polished every single day, even if your wardrobe is small and your bank account isn't overflowing. Let's start with something simple: knowing your fit. Not just your size, but your shape, your lines, your comfort zones. One of the most common traps we fall into with age is hiding under baggy clothes. Or on the flip side, clinging to clothes from a decade ago that no longer fit quite right. And that does something to your posture, to your presence. You ever try on something and feel 10 years younger? Not because it was tight or trendy, but because it sat on your shoulders just right. That's the power of knowing what flatters you, not just what fits. And it doesn't have to cost a thing. Start by taking a fresh look at the pieces you already own. Lay them out. Try them on again. Stand in front of a mirror and ask, do I feel like myself in this, or am I hiding? Sometimes even a small alteration, hemming a sleeve, taking in a waistline, adjusting a neckline, can completely transform how a garment works for you. And you don't have to do it yourself. A neighborhood tailor or sewing-savvy friend can often tweak a piece for a few bucks. It's one of the highest returns you can get on a $10 investment. Next up, texture. As skin changes with age, soft, breathable fabrics become more than just a comfort. They're part of the visual equation. Rough, shiny, or overly synthetic materials can exaggerate features you may not love. Meanwhile, cottons, linens, light knits, even good quality secondhand cashmere, they work with you. They move, they breathe. They say, I'm still here, and I'm treating myself kindly. And don't underestimate the power of layering, not just to cover but to create lines, movement, interest. A long cardigan, a denim jacket, even a lightweight scarf can add dimension without shouting. The trick is to keep it simple, clean, and true to you. You're not dressing to impress anymore. You're dressing to express. And that expression? That's where confidence lives. Not in the price tag, not in the brand, but in the quiet feeling of walking past a mirror, catching a glimpse of yourself and thinking, yep, that's still me. Now, once you start dialing in your fit and feel, there's another shift that makes all the difference, not in your closet, but in your mindset. It's the shift from dressing out of habit to dressing with intention. That might sound subtle, but it changes everything. See, after a certain age, it's easy to slide into autopilot. You reach for the same few pieces each week because they're familiar, they're easy, they do the job. And hey, when your days are packed or your body's feeling stiff, who wants to fuss with clothes? But here's the thing, what you wear becomes your story. It's the first thing people notice, and whether we like it or not, it's often how they remember us. More importantly, it's how you signal to yourself that you're still showing up, still participating, still choosing to lead with presence. So, try this. Pick one day this week, just one, and spend a few extra minutes choosing your outfit like you're going somewhere important, even if you're not. Lay it out the night before. Choose something with a little color or texture, something that makes you stand a bit taller when you put it on. It might feel silly at first, especially if you're just running errands or having coffee with a friend. But you'll notice something, a little energy shift, a little spark of pride. That's not vanity, that's self-respect. And if you're worried about budget, good, that's the whole point. Dressing intentionally doesn't require a shopping spree. It just means rethinking what you already own. Pair things differently. Add a pop of color. Maybe it's a secondhand brooch or a belt you haven't worn in years. Maybe it's rolling up the sleeves on that old button down to give it a fresher. Look, and speaking of secondhand, let's talk about that for a second. Thrift stores, consignment shops, even online swap groups are full of gently used, often high-quality pieces just waiting for someone like you to bring them back to life. A lot of people overlook them, thinking they're only for the desperate. But that's outdated thinking. Today, knowing how to shop secondhand is a skill. It's smart, it's eco-conscious. It's a treasure hunt for pieces that don't look like everyone else's. And it stretches your budget more than any department store ever will. I know a woman named Linda, she's 73, who built an entire capsule wardrobe for under $100 by shopping secondhand. She focused on versatile, neutral staples with a few bright accessories. She gets compliments everywhere she goes. Not because her clothes are fancy, but because they're her. They fit well, they're styled with thought, and most importantly, she feels proud in them because that's the goal here. To feel like you again, not the version of you from 20 years ago, not the version someone else expects, but the one who wakes up, looks in the mirror, and feels that little yes bubble up from somewhere deep in your chest. And once you've reconnected with that sense of intention, the next step gets even more fun. It's about personality, and it starts where you might least expect it. Starts with shoes. Yep, shoes. They're often the most overlooked part of the wardrobe as we get older, especially once comfort becomes the top priority. But here's the thing. Your shoes don't have to scream orthopedic to support your feet, and they definitely don't have to dull down your entire look. Think about it. You could be wearing the simplest outfit, black pants, a soft blouse, nothing flashy, and then a pair of red loafers, or sleek sneakers with a white sole, or ankle boots with a little texture. Suddenly, your whole outfit has personality, energy, that quiet whisper that says, yes, I still like to play. And playing with your look doesn't mean dressing like someone you're not. It just means choosing one or two signature pieces that make you feel like you again. A colorful scarf, a pair of statement earrings, a hat that adds flair but still feels effortless. These are low-cost ways to lift your outfit and your confidence. One trick that works wonders? Choose a go-to color that flatters your skin tone and weaves it through a few accessories. Maybe it's a warm plum, a crisp navy, or even a vibrant mustard. Wearing that color consistently not only makes it easier to mix and match, it becomes part of your personal style identity. Now, if you're thinking, that all sounds nice, but I'm just not fashionable, I want to pause you right there. Confidence doesn't come from being trendy. It comes from feeling like you're aligned with yourself. When your outer world reflects your inner spark, even a basic outfit becomes a power move. And let's be honest, confidence in midlife is a different creature than it was at 30. It doesn't strut or shout. It walks in, calm and grounded, knowing its worth. When you dress with care, people feel it. And you feel it even if you're the only one who sees yourself that day. I knew a man named Richard, 76 years old, who always wore a hat. Not out of vanity, he was mostly bald, but because it made him feel polished. His entire outfit might be jeans and a white shirt, but the hat? That was the punctuation mark. It gave him presence. And every time someone commented on it, he smiled and said, "Just because I'm getting older doesn't mean I stop being me." That's really the heart of it, isn't it? Dressing well on a budget after 70 isn't about impressing others. It's about reminding yourself that you're still worth the effort, that joy still lives in the details, that even on your quietest days you still deserve to feel seen. And here's where it gets even more powerful. Because when you show up for yourself on the outside, something starts shifting on the inside. You start standing a little taller, not because your posture changed overnight, but because something internal begins to recalibrate. That small voice, the one that sometimes whispers doubts like, "I'm invisible now," or maybe it's, "Too late to feel proud of how I look," starts to quiet down. Because here's the secret most people don't talk about. When you consistently show care for how you present yourself, your brain takes notice, begins to rewrite old stories. You're no longer just functioning. You're choosing. You're participating. And that subtle shift builds a kind of confidence no cream or fancy designer label could ever give you. That's why the final key to staying well-dressed and confident isn't in your closet. It's in your habits. Specifically, how you prep your space and your mindset to make getting dressed feel easy, not like another daily chore. So take a moment to do a little closet audit. You don't have to do it all at once. Start with one shelf or one drawer. Pull out what you actually wear and love. Things that make you feel strong, soft, elegant, bold, whatever reflects you best. Then gently set aside the items that make you shrug, or worse. If it doesn't make you feel something good, it's not doing you any favors. Once you've cleared the clutter, create a small section that's easy to reach and already curated. Your go-to corner for mornings when motivation is low, but you still want to feel like yourself. A couple of outfits that always work, a scarf you love, a jacket that fits like a hug. Having that ready removes decision fatigue, which is half the battle most days. And don't underestimate the power of preparing the night before. It sounds simple, maybe even old-fashioned, but laying out your clothes, even just choosing them, ahead of time, gives your future self one less thing to worry about. It's an act of kindness toward yourself. I know one woman, Eleanor, who puts on music each Sunday evening and plans her outfits for the week. It's become a little ritual she loves. She doesn't have a huge wardrobe, but she says having 5 intentional looks ready for the week makes her mornings smoother and her days more energized. It's like setting the tone for the version of me I want to be, she told me. And that's exactly it. When you care for how you dress, when you make even small efforts to express yourself through fabric and color and shape, you're not chasing youth. You're cultivating vitality. You're sending a message to the world and, more importantly, to yourself, that you still care. And when you care, you lead, you inspire, you make space for joy. You don't need expensive labels. You don't need 20 new pieces. You just need a mindset that says, I'm still here and I still love the way I show up. There's one last piece to this puzzle, a reminder that ties it all together, especially for those moments when you're tempted to let it all slide. And that's this. How you dress isn't about vanity, it's about voice. Even if your body has changed, even if your income is tighter now than it used to be, even if no one's really looking most days, you're still sending a message with every outfit you put on. The question is, what do you want that message to be? Because settling into invisibility isn't the same as aging gracefully. Shrinking yourself to fit someone else's idea of appropriate doesn't make you respectable. It makes you disappear. And that's not the life you've worked this hard to build. You've earned the right to take up space with pride. 2. Walk into a room, yes, even a quiet one, and feel comfortable in your skin. To dress like someone who still cares, not because you need approval, but because you like yourself too much not to. So if you've been coasting through the week in the same old sweater, or you've been putting off that closet refresh, or telling yourself it's not worth the effort anymore, let today be the nudge. Pull out that shirt you always loved. Try a different combination. Polish your shoes. Pin a brooch you forgot you owned. Say yes to being seen again, not just by others, but by you. Confidence isn't something you have to go out and buy. You build it one small intentional choice at a time. A scarf here, a stronger stance there, a mindset shift that says, I'm not done living, so I'm not done showing up fully. And for the record, you don't need to be wealthy, trendy, or a fashion expert to look well-dressed. You just need to be present, curious, open to giving yourself the same respect you give to others. Your future self, the one who's still walking, tall 5 or 10 years from now, is going to thank you for every little choice you made today. The neat collar, the fresh pair of socks, the effort you made, not for anyone else, but for your own quiet pride. If this conversation stirred something in you, I'd love to hear about it. Drop a comment and share one small change you're making this week. Whether it's cleaning a drawer, adding a new accessory, or simply showing up with a bit more spark. And if this message landed, go ahead and like this video and subscribe. Because this space, it's for people like you. People who are still becoming, still evolving, still choosing to live with intention and style. Midlife isn't a fading light. It's a bold second sunrise. You're not dressing for the past. You're dressing for the powerful, vibrant, deeply alive version of you that's still very much in the game. And that deserves to be seen.